Look, man, you keep coming to my page and talking about the Shaquille O'Neal. Where's my video on Shaq? You still ain't see it. Bro, Shaq was overrated. Shaq came out of LSU. This is how Shaq's overrated. This not going to be a long video either. I'm just answering Lakers for fan for life or whatever. See, y'all caught Shaq when he was winning championships. You didn't watch Shaq before that and after that. You didn't watch him. And I know you didn't watch him. What moves did Shaq have? I'm going to just sit here and see what you put in the chat later. What moves did Shaq have? What move did he, what did he revolutionize? Who took what from Shaq to add to their game? Listen, Shaq's problem was he never worked on his game. See, you guys don't understand. That's why he didn't last as long as he did. He didn't last long playing at a high level. Shaq's best years were his best years were the 3 championships, the 3-peat. Those are his best years because there were no centers anymore. But Shaq was still struggling against teams like the Spurs, the Blazers, all of these guys. Plus, Shaq was a terrible defender. He had no moves. He had no skill. He never worked on his game. He had that ugly ass baby hook because he couldn't do the sky hook like Kareem. So he said, I'm going to make me a baby hook. He had no left. He couldn't go left for nothing. If you pushed him to his left, that's how you're able to contain Shaq. That's why the Kings never had trouble every time they played against the Lakers. They used to give Shaq problems. That's why the Pistons with Ben Wallace gave him problems. That's why he had problems going against Dennis Rodman. He didn't know how to counter their defenses. He didn't know how to counter them at all. Plus, Shaq has never played without a top guard in his career. At LSU, who did he play with? Played with Chris Jackson, a.k.a. Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. Even out of Shaq mouth, Chris Jackson was better than him. He wasn't better than Christian Laettner in college. He was more athletic. You know, he was more athletic, more agile. But as far as skill, Christian Laettner was better. Christian Laettner just went to the wrong team. He went to Minnesota. You know, Christian Laettner's game wasn't to be the guy. Right? Now, Shaq came in his first year. Him and Scott Skiles got into it. Scott Skiles basically told him to carry his bags. He said, F no. And him and Scott Skiles weren't cool ever since. And I agree with him. I'm not carrying your bags. I don't give a damn if I'm a rookie or whatever. I'm not carrying your bags or doing none of that. And you're not going to make me do it. Him and Scott Skiles almost got in a lot of fist fights because Shaq didn't run the plays correctly. Shaq was a good scorer. That's all Shaq was. All he could do is dunk. That's it, dunk. Had no moves, had no left, couldn't go right, nothing. And then he lowered that shoulder. He would lower that shoulder and hit you like this, and then he'll dunk it. Or he'll do his spin move. He'll do a spin move, and then he'll just dunk the ball. He'll spin. That was his only moves. He had no more after that. It wasn't until he got Penny Hardaway, which is the second best guard he's played with. That's the best guard he's played with was Penny Hardaway. But that was the second guard after Chris Jackson. It was Penny. And they did good. They got to the playoffs. And then guess what happened? They got swept. Do you want to know why they got swept, Mr. Lakers fan for life? Do you know why they got swept? They got swept because Shaq was getting killed by Rick Smits. But you're telling me he's great. Now, I'll give him a pass because that was his first time in the playoffs. He was young. So he gets a pass. The following year, they lost to the Pacers again, I believe. Either the Pacers, Knicks, one of them, they lost. Okay? They lost. You know why they lost that series? They lost that series because Rick Smits, Davis boys, they had guys coming off the bench killing us. Penny was giving him the ball and Shaq would score. But you know what Shaq wasn't doing? He wasn't defending. That was his problem. Shaq could score because all he did was either lower that shoulder or elbow you and then he'll dunk. And then Shaq would be in foul trouble. He was nothing but an offensive fouling chump. Then we had to go get Horace Grant. Not Scottie Pippen because he's trash. Horace Grant should have been in the Hall of Fame instead of Pippen, and I live by that. If you're going to put somebody on the Bulls besides Mike, it would be Horace. But we got Horace. You know what happened? Horace Grant helped Shaq on the boards. See, Shaq's weaknesses is he's not a very good rebounder, which I showed the video. I made a video. Go look it up, Lakers fan for life. It's called Diesel versus the round mound of rebound. Charles Barkley, we looked up what they averaged. Charles Barkley in his later career, fat, out of shape, slow, all of that, was still averaging between 10 to 12 rebounds a game. Sometimes 2 to 3 offensive rebounds. You know what Shaq was averaging? Damn near 6 or 7. Now, Shaq would have a night where he would get you 30 and 10 or 35 and 15, but on a consistent night, Shaq would probably give you 25, 26, and 8. That was it. And if you think I'm lying, go look it up. Go look up his stats. Go look up his rebounds and all of that and compare it to Moses Malone, Willis Reed, Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell. Go compare it to them guys. Patrick Ewing, hell, go to Patrick Ewing. Hakeem Olajuwon. Shaq was having trouble with that. Then when Mike retired and then he tried to come back at the end, we beat him because of Nick Anderson's defense and Penny Hardaway's playmaking and scoring. And Horace Grant. Wasn't because of Shaq, Horace Grant. Now, we got swept by Houston because when we beat the Pacers, because we finally beat the Pacers always had our number. Shaq was celebrating. Everybody was celebrating like we won the championship. So when we played Houston, and it's similar to the Blazers and the Golden State series recently, where I believe the Blazers, they were up by like a bunch, like 15 going in the fourth quarter, sometimes 20, and we would lose the lead. You know why? Because Robert Horry was killing us. He wasn't there anymore. Clyde was killing us. Kenny Smith and them guys started shooting our lights out in the perimeter. And down low, Hakeem Olajuwon was taking Shaq to business. But what they don't tell you is, yeah, Shaq was scoring as well. But you know what happened down the stretch? Hakeem shut Shaq down. Shut him down. So you're telling me a guy who you feel is great, I don't believe he deserved to be in the top 50 or 75. He's in my top 80 something, maybe 90. Probably lower than that. You're telling me a guy who you're trying to tell me is this great center, right? Why was he getting shut down by Hakeem Olajuwon? Why was he getting shut down by Smits? The Davis boys. Like, what are you talking about? This dude had trouble guarding the fives. The five for the Seattle Supersonics used to give him trouble. And he wasn't all that. Dikembe used to give him problems. The young Dikembe used to give Shaq problems. Shaq would have a hard time scoring on him. He would play David Robinson. They would offset each other. David Robinson would kill him, and he would kill David Robinson. But David Robinson had skill and had a game. His only issue is he got heart. He had a heart that's his sweetest Kool-Aid. So y'all, you keep asking me about how he's overrated. Let's go to when he went to the Lakers. No, excuse me. Let's keep it with Orlando still. We played the Bulls. They went and got Dennis Rodman. They traded Will Perdue for Dennis Rodman, which is one of the most one-sided trades I've ever seen in my life. But everybody want to act like LeBron the only one. But Jordan not Jordan, but Krause and them brought Rodman over for nothing. And you know what happened? Horace Grant got hurt, right? What happened to Shaq? Why didn't Shaq close the game? Why didn't he come back? Why didn't he bring us back? Oh, I know why. Because he was a Shaq of shit. That's what he was. A Shaq of shit. Sack of shit. That's what he was. So I don't want to hear that about Shaq being this and that. He's not. He was getting dominated when he went to LA. He got shut down by Dennis Rodman, a guy who is 6'6", about $1 something. And you telling me that he ain't overrated? Nigga, please, stop playing. That boy vastly overrated. You let Dennis Rodman shut you down, but you elite. Then he made up a fake lie about David Robinson, which don't even sound like David Robinson's character. But he said he heard it. It's like, come on. Like Shaq. And then he hates on everybody. He hated on Penny. Knocked his doll down for no reason. It's like, why'd you knock his doll down? And then trying to say it was a joke. And Penny was like, man, I can't take this no more, man. He just don't want to share the shine, which you didn't. You were a bigot, fake. Ooh, I can't stand him. Can't stand him. It's crazy. It's crazy as hell. Trying to tell me this guy ain't overrated. Then he played against the Jazz. He was getting shut down by Ostertag and Carr. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Then he hated on Kobe. Wanted Kobe traded before they got to the season. Phil Jackson had to say, no, we're not moving him. Like, he's good. But he basically let Tim Duncan and them beat him too. Remember, and remember this well. He has never played without a great guard, period. Period. Not only that, defensively, he was an F. Offensively, he was like a D-, maybe D+ because of the dunk. So what are we talking about? Then he fouled out in the game against the Pacers in the championship. But before that, they were in the Blazers series. They were down 15, a series they should have lost. Kobe came in and brought y'all all the way back to win that game. But my thing is this. When Kobe got hurt, Game 3 was perfect for y'all to take. Y'all got blown out. And you ain't do nothing really either. So, you know, that's how it is. You let Ben Wallace shut you down. Do you think if Ben Wallace played against Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, you think Jabbar would have got shut down? You think Wilt would have been shut down? Hell, you think Akeem Olajuwon would have got shut down by Ben Wallace the whole game? Nigga, you out your mind. It's a trip that this guy keep coming to my page wanting to hear about this bum. Then what happened? Honestly, Kobe, in my opinion, could have won at least 2 out of those 3 finals. Now, the New Jersey Nets, like I said, that could have gone either way. But the Philadelphia Sixers, right? He got the most memorable plays. They barely show Shaq. Shaq was getting shut down by old Mutombo. You know what he did? He went to the ref and said, man, he's pushing too hard. Like, I need to get a call, man. Like, he's slapping on me hard. When, you know what I'm saying? He's slapping me hard and all of this, right? It's a joke. It is a joke. You know, Shaq never played without a top guard. Not only that, after he fouled out, he kept saying, man, Kobe was Batman, I'm Superman. No, he's Superman and you was Lois Lane. You needed to be saved. It wasn't until Kobe started turning the corner that you wanted to change. Then you were sneak dissing him still. Kobe was the only guy who basically Kobe was the only guy. Kobe was the only guy to take those air balls. He had the ball in his hand and he took the air balls. He shot 4 air balls. Where was you, Shaq? Where was you at, Shaq? Why you didn't take the game over? I don't want to hear that shit. Well, he got to get the ball passed to him. No, Kobe was the closer. In Orlando, Penny, closer. In college, LSU, Chris Jackson, closer. Miami Heat, D-Wade, closer. The Phoenix Suns, Barbosa, Nash, or whoever, closer. Cleveland, Mo Williams, or Boobie, or whoever. LeBron wasn't closing shit, and neither was him. He went to Boston. Paul Pierce was your closer. Ray Allen. What has he done to garner all of his love? He hasn't done nothing. Shaq was always known for dunking. You guys like Shaq because of how hilarious he is, the buck dance and all the stupid stuff. Dude couldn't stand Kobe. Hated Kobe. Now all of a sudden saying, well, that was a part of my plan. I was the master. I was the master marketer. You know, I was doing, and Kobe just be like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, like Kobe didn't give a damn. Kobe just like, damn, I got somebody worse than you, Shaq. Damn, I should have kept Shaq. That's all Kobe was saying, that he wished he could have kept you. Because he realized, man, Even though he was a Shaq of shit, at least when he got mad, he at least just had dog in him. But Shaq didn't want to relinquish the game. He didn't want to relinquish the team. All Shaq had to do was do what Kareem did. Take a step back. Let him do what he does. The problem never was Kobe. The problem was Shaq. Shaq didn't know how to chill with his ego. He never worked hard. He always came into camp out of shape. Then when he finally got into shape, look what happened. They won their first chip. But if Kobe didn't lead the comeback with Brian Shaw or Robert Horry, the Lakers would have lost to the Blazers. Because Shaq wasn't doing shit. Shaq ain't do shit the whole game. He was getting shut down. He was getting pushed. And he was over there crying. Like, man, he pushing me too hard. Where the foul at? Because I'm a big man, they got a problem. No. You soft. You got no moves. What moves Shaq got? Shaq ain't got no moves. Defensively, who is he shut down? Now, he'll rim protect. I'll give him that. Shaq will rim protect. But you know what Shaq's problem is? You know what Shaq's problem is? Shaq sucks on pick and roll defenses. That's why every time the team ran a pick and roll, that's why we were getting swept, because of Shaq. Shaq wasn't bringing his fat ass out there to guard the guy coming off the pick and roll. His footwork is terrible. He don't know what foot to lead with. He don't know how to guard somebody. He's lazy. They pull him out the paint. Everybody like, man, Shaq like, I could have played. You couldn't have played today, because all they would have did a stretch five. They'd have threw a stretch five out there. And he'd have been hitting threes all day because you ain't want to step out and play defense. That was Shaq. A Shaq of shit. That's what he was. Want to hear that shit? So that's the point I'm trying to make. You keep on talking about how is he overrated. He's overrated. Dog, he was a terrible free throw shooter. He was decent at getting the rebounds. Crazy. Man, it's crazy. I had to do this long ass video on Shaq, and Shaq was a bum. Why do you think when the Pistons played them, right, and they won, right? Because they knew Shaq was going to do whatever he wanted. They knew that. So their objective was to guard their wing players. Kobe, Gary, Derek Fisher, they wanted to keep them off of rhythm. You know, which was smart. But see, Shaq don't tell y'all the truth. Y'all love Shaq because of the highlights and him dunking, and they talked about him. And he raps and all of this. I don't care. You know, it's crazy. Dude never locked down any center, never shut anybody down, nothing. So that's the thing that pisses me off about Shaquille O'Fat. Then he tried to hop from team to team and getting hurt because he doesn't work out. He don't take himself seriously. And that's facts. everybody wants to over glorify guys. Kobe, I never liked it Kobe coming up, Lakers fan. The reason I got Kobe as the best is because of his mentality, his zoned in, the way he approached the game. Not only that, his bag. If you go to the basketball court, everybody gonna want to see your bag, how great you are with your bag. And you know, he's showing. That's what pisses me off. But I didn't like Kobe. Kobe turned me into a fan of his. When Kobe was going back and forth for that court case, right? He was dropping 30s, 40s, 50s. Like, it was crazy. And he was on a win streak. He was, and Shaq, you know, they were like, man, Phil Jackson, well, you know, we might lose the big fella. We need to give him the ball. He used to give the ball to Shaq. He gave the ball to Shaq instead of breaking a record that night. And you know what? Nobody really talk about it because you know why? Because they're idiots. You know, it's sad. Kobe had to play with this chump who barely could come into camp right. But Kobe made me a fan. And the reason Kobe made me a fan was of that. Because of the court case. He was going back and forth killing it. You know, and that's what I'm saying. That's what made me like him. So, that's all I got. But Shaq was a Shaq of shit. He was overrated because he never worked on his game. He never developed the inside game. He never developed the left. He never developed his hook shot. It was a flicked-it, retarded hook shot. He never worked on it. He never worked on the mid-range game. Never worked on his post game. It just is what it is. You know? So I went way too long with this, man. But look, man, Lakers fan for life. Shaq is a bum. He's trash. I'm done talking about him. Okay, now if you donate to the page, then I'll talk about him. But until then, I'm going to be yelling out, DZ.